Should I point that down a bit? Let's point it down a bit.
Okay, just do a clap.
Why am I clapping?
Because I'm going to do the intro.
Wait, hold on. The light.
Hello, welcome back to another Overall Nerds video. This time we will be talking about So if you don't know, this is Kartar, obviously not Hamza. Hamza's hasn't watched Superman Lois, so he can't actually be in the video.
Has he not?
No, he hasn't watched it. Otherwise there would be no use for you. This is the only reason you're here. This is the only reason you're here. But this time we'll be reviewing Superman Lois Season 1. And so...
And 2.
Season 2 is going to be in a separate video.
Alright.
But in Superman Lois Season 1, I kind of just want to say, what were your expectations before you saw the show?
I remember sitting on Instagram, I was going through Reels and I saw the first minute of the opening montage, and I was like, holy shit. Wait, you allow swearing, right? Yeah. I was like, holy this actually looks really good. And then I found the clip on YouTube, the first 4 minutes, the whole montage.
Yeah.
And I watched it, I was like, fuck, this is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And then I realised it's part of the whole CW universe. I was like, oh shit, I haven't watched it.
See, that was my issue, because before this, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman was on Supergirl, and he was kind of more low budget. He was brought into that show to show how powerful Supergirl was. He would always lose. So when they did a show about him, I was like, okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, he's shown to be this weak as Superman. But like I was saying, I saw the trailer, the first trailer they dropped, and it looked so cinematic, had this real quality to it, and it looked kind of like a film, and it didn't really feel like a CW show. So that was kind of my expectation of it was going to be another crappy CW show, but it kind of surpassed that straight away, just with the production and just the overall feel of it. I think it kind of doesn't do what you expect of a normal CW show to do. Have you seen any CW?
I've seen clips. They look so bad, student film level, and I think I saw a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and there was even the equipment and stuff they're filming on, they're using anamorphic lenses, and it's giving the production value a huge boost. So
yeah. So basically, we're just gonna start off with just overall thoughts about it. What do you like about Superman Lois? What called you to it?
I loved the whole thing. I saw it on Instagram, found the clip on YouTube, I sent it to you, and I asked you, do I have to watch the rest of the CW stuff to watch this? And you were technically no. So
I think that's one of the terms for people, that they think they have to watch the whole CW before, but you don't. It's it's kind of standalone in itself, especially now.
Yeah, I understood it. I mean, there was one moment where it's when John Henry Irons, and he shows up, and I was like, who's this? Am I supposed to know? And you literally explained it to me within one message. You were just oh yeah, he's a guy, he's in the other show, but he's from another universe.
Yeah.
And I got the concept. I was like, okay, cool.
Disclaimer: Kartar is not racist. Hopefully, he just forgot the name.
And then I didn't. Even now, I've watched season 2 like 2 weeks ago, and it's I don't feel like I've missed anything by not watching anything. It's his own standalone thing. You can watch it without any prior knowledge.
Yeah.
I was hooked. I binged the whole thing, just episode after episode. I remember messaging you. I was like, "This is so good."
Because I recommended it for so long. It's you gotta watch it, please.
And it's I love how Tyler Superman is. He's very the traditional Boy Scout Christopher Reeve Superman. But at the same time, his production value and everything is so inspired. I think one of the showrunners even said they were inspired by Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And you can see the way he flies, it's fast, it kicks off. It's very Man of Steel, the way his laser eyes is, just the effects of his powers and everything, and his suit, and I mean there are some obviously off bits, but that's expected, and it's you're nitpicking at that stage. And I feel do you know what's funny? Because I watched Man of Steel this week, literally 2-3 days ago, because it's on Netflix, and I gotta say Superman and Lois, after watching season 2 as well, I feel I prefer that more. They've definitely done a better job on the effects as well.
You see, the thing is with Superman is the thing for me, I've never really found Superman to be a rather appealing character. He's got all these powers, he's got all this stuff. It feels it's hard to do a story for him, because he has all these abilities, or he can do anything. Anything the writer wants him to do, he can do. And I think what Superman Lois succeeds in is puts Superman in a different environment. You start off, he gets fired from the Daily Planet. His mother dies, Martha Kent passes away, and then you're dealt with Superman having kids, two twin boys, with one of them finding out they have powers. So it puts him in this completely different field. It's able to ground him in a different way that I think other films maybe haven't done. Maybe with A Man of Steel, where you kind of just like, Henry Cavill's alright, but like you really feel attached to this one. Tyler Hoechlin and I'm trying to remember the Lois Lane actress name. I think Elizabeth Tulich, yeah, something like that. So they have a really good connection. The connection with the kids is great. I just kind of just love the premise of the show and how they're able to build off that. I think that's one thing we should talk about, the especially the kids dynamic. I remember when you like first see it, you have like the outcast, and then you have kind of like the popular one, and you kind of think the popular one's going to be the jerk one, but Jonathan Kent he's such a highlight of season 1, because they just subvert it straight away, because they think Jonathan has the powers because he's been so good at everything and everything like that.
But it's actually Jordan.
You find it's Jordan, and you think...
I love the bond between the two siblings as well, because you think like, oh yeah, one of them's got powers, the other one's going to be jealous, they're going to have a rift, but no, like those brothers are there for each other, like they're tight. Like,
yeah, and it's a major point of the season. I like the season throughout, it's great.
One thing I love about this show, especially compared to like the previous Superman films, Smallville feels so alive. Like it feels like a character within itself. Like you don't have the show without Smallville. Like when you've got Man of Steel, like Metropolis is there, Smallville is there, but that's like it just feels very hollow. And like I feel like with this, it's like Smallville is very much a part of the show. Like it's just full of life. It gives something to the show, and I feel like if you took that away, it takes something away from the show.
More. Yeah, like you just feel like he's among the people, if that makes sense. But yeah, we should probably move on to the story itself. So the plot of this season is you've got this mysterious character, Morgan Edge. He's taken an interest in Smallville. He's opened up the mines. He's apparently creating jobs, but he's looking for what type of kryptonite is it? Red kryptonite?
X-kryptonite.
X-kryptonite, that's it. So he's using that to experiment on people, blah blah blah. And then you find out that Morgan Edge ain't Morgan Edge. It's actually Superman's half brother, Taro. And I don't know. It's an interesting addition to the Superman lore, giving him like a half brother. Like when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, that's like, you know. And like the overall goal is to put Kryptonians into human vessels and basically bring Krypton back. Is basically the whole basic gist. It's an alright plot, you know. I think it's not basic. It's just like it's very simple, but because of the well-built characters and everything, and like the scripts, it kind of elevates it a bit. That's on one side, and you had the John Henry Irons side of things, where you think they introduced the Lex Luthor. So they did two like misleads. You got the Lex Luthor turned to John Henry Irons, and then you've got the Morgan Edge and Taro. I think it was really smart for the first season. It really kind of just like keeps you hooked. Like you don't really know what's going on, especially with how I think it's cool. I think the episode where they reveal it, he's called Man of Steel. So when like Lois is driving to him, it's like, Clark, his name isn't Lex Luthor. It's not Lex Luthor. It's John Henry Irons. And then the hammer comes in. And it's like, you're not the Man of Steel. I am. And it's like, it's so good. Like I loved. The plot was good. I remember especially the end part. Like every episode, I remember at a point like every episode felt like a finale. Whereas like it was like you had the one where his mother comes back and Clark's like flying up there with and all the Kryptonians are following him to like the sun area when he's trying to blow up and everything. And then you have Morgan Edge becoming the Eradicator and everything like that. It's just really well paced, and like I definitely like recommend the show.
100%.
Do you have any like negatives, anything like you take
honestly
away from it?
I'm gonna be honest, I love the show. Like I think going in, because it was like it's a show, I considered it to be very small, so obviously the main guys are still Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill. And then like when I watched this, I was like, damn, he is so good. Like he should be up there with those guys. And I was like, he's added to my favourites. You know, like he's amongst Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeves and Brandon Routh.
That's very true. I've never had a favourite Superman before, if I'm honest, until like this show, because there was Smallville, the TV show with Tom Welling, but he was Clark Kent. He wasn't Superman. It was about his upbringing. And Christopher Reeve films I found alright, but I didn't really take to Christopher Reeve that much. Like he was an idol to me. Henry Cavill and Brendan Ralph, they did fine, but none of them stood out.
They didn't stand out. I feel like for me, like Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill, they did a fantastic job. They just didn't stand out. Whereas Christopher Reeve, like he stands out and he's a classic, but he's a bit dated. So I kind of have a connection with all three of them because I kind of grew up with all three of them.
You're really old,
Wow, you're really tall. But when I saw Tyler, I was like, damn, he needs to be added to the list. And after I watched season 2, I was like, I'm sorry, like I love the other guys, but Tyler is my Superman. Like he is Superman, you know. Like I think when it comes to nitpicks, again, like I personally feel I don't know, maybe being biased, but I feel like the show's near perfect. Like the only nitpicks
maybe
are like
just the suit, I guess.
Yeah, it's just the suit. It looks a bit wrinkly, and you can tell it's a bit like muscle pads. Because like if you look at Tyler's figure, like when he's as Clark or in real life, he's quite like lean and athletic.
Yeah.
Whereas when he's like Superman, he's got like muscles bulging out, and you're just like, you know, yeah. And yeah, I think it's just just that. I mean, there's some shots of the effects like we can tell it's like green screen and it's comped in. But again, that's just like I can't really complain about that because like, it's a show. It's it's expected.
I can't think of too many cons. Maybe just the logo and the suit. That's mostly
That logo was good.
Huh?
That logo's good.
No, I mean like the way it looks, like how it's just like based on there.
There's one thing now that you mention it. One thing that does. I mean, it's not. I don't hate it. It's just a minor nitpick. Is his cape, how it kind of just tucks in like there. I actually prefer it in Man of Steel, where it's kind of like it goes over the shoulders and it kind of goes in and tucks into something.
Right.
I don't like the look of Tyler's cape in the Supergirl show, like where that looks really weird. Like I don't know what's going on there, but like how it looks in Man of Steel, I feel like chef's kiss. Like that's perfect how they did it. And in Superman Lois, it's good. It is good, but I feel like just it's like 95% good. Just that little cherry on top, as if they kind of fixed the cape from like that to like there. But other than that, it's good.
Yeah, so you can see we definitely like the show. Can't really think of anything bad about it. But like, what did you think about season 1? Did you like it? Comment down below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe so you can see more videos from us.
Check out my channel. Follow me on Instagram.
Peace.